Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video. For today, I want to give you some updates that happened over the weekend, and I think you're going to want to hear these.
Well, guess what, everybody? I'm back here at Giga-Texas, but this is very different. I'm here on a Saturday, which is normally not a production day. Now, there's usually some parts of the factory that are operational, whether it be like in the casting machine section, maybe the headquarters area, maybe doing some work over in the stamping, doing maintenance, testing, training, that kind of thing. But today is special because there is production going on, which is very rare, and they're producing Model Ys because the demand is actually through the roof during this time of the quarter. And of course, we've talked about that before. There's various reasons for that, one of which is the ending of the 7,500 EV tax credit. So if you are interested in getting a Tesla or any EV for that matter, you need to do that before the end of this month. So that is driving a lot of sales and the activity here at Giga-Texas. Also hearing that next week it's going to be a 5-day production week, which is also different. Normally Fridays are not for production, but they are trying to meet that demand. Now, yesterday in my video, I showed you that they were doing final preparations in the morning, including a Cybercab demonstration right out in front, and a lot of other activities that seemed more than just doing construction, and that's actually what ended up happening. Yesterday, for the first time, that delivery center was in operation. They delivered their very first vehicles to customers, and from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is it seemed to go pretty well. My guess is that this is going to become very popular as more and more people have this opportunity to order a Tesla and pick it up here at Giga-Texas. Hey, just a quick note that this Friday I'm going to be heading over to Florida. The Florida Tesla Owners Club is hosting their TeslaCon event down in Orlando at the Margarita Resort. Going to be a lot of activities, a lot of displays, speaker panel, and also roundtables, and I'm going to be participating in a lot of those activities. And this is going to be a great 2-day event. It's going to be on Saturday, the 13th of September, running through the 14th of September. I won't be flying here at Giga-Texas on Friday the 12th because I'll be traveling, and I won't be flying on Monday the 15th as I will be returning from Florida. So expect a little bit of a change in my schedule, and then I'll be back here for Giga-Texas in the middle of next week. I know that we're getting close to the end of the quarter, so a lot of people are going to be wanting to see what's going on at Giga-Texas. And between Brad Sloan's flying and me getting back from Florida, I think we'll have a pretty good view on what is going on. But I just wanted to make sure you knew about that. And also, if you're interested in, check out the Tesla Owners Club website on the TeslaCon information. I believe that tickets are still available, and if you can come join us, come on down. I think it's going to be a great event.
So with those updates, let's get into the drone, let's fly around and see what Giga-Texas looks like today. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, as you can see, the Cybertruck makes a great launching pad for my drone, and we're going ahead and start here on the north side, looking back at the main factory. Tesla Road right in the middle of the screen, and as we continue to pull away to the north, we can see that east parking lot, the multi-level parking garage, the east warehouse on wheels, of course the 2 Megapack systems, the new Cortex 2 building, die shop, and the cathode plant in the top of the screen. And coming into view is that electrical switch yard that is being doubled in size right now. And that's kind of on the left-hand side of the screen. Also a nice overview of all of the construction sites here on the north end and how this area is continuing to change. So I'm going to maneuver around the power lines, pull away a little bit farther to the north just to give a good overall view of the east side of Giga-Texas. And then after this, we're going to proceed over to the far north side. I want to show you what's going on with that open field and some of the materials that used to be there. So great view here from the north looking to the south. Let's get continuing with the flight, and I'll resume here momentarily. So as I maneuver around here on this north side, we can see that large clearing with the tree. That's the Lone Tree Field. There's the rental equipment lot and maintenance units off to the right. But what I really want to show you is this field directly below the drone. You'll see all of the concrete segments that have been placed for kind of anti-mud control on the right, some more at the bottom of the screen, and then some materials at the top of the screen. Now, all of those concrete segments, or at least most of them, came from the south end before they did the extension of the building. This is what was ripped up, and they've been using this, again, like I said, for mud control, but also this was filled with equipment that was left over from initial purchases and plans that had changed at Giga-Texas. And now much of this equipment has been moved off-site, recycled, and what is remaining is here. You can see some of those green bins and some more concrete segments. This is all being recycled and moved off, and eventually all of this will be gone. And that'll allow for some new construction in this area, including the construction of a new Harold Green Road, which is what Tesla Road replaced. Now, as I mentioned before, this is the rental equipment lot maintenance. Also on the left-hand side of the screen, more of that concrete that remains from that south end. But this is a lower altitude view of all of the activity equipment, some of the cooling units at the bottom of the screen, maybe some generators, and just a lot of other equipment. And also, this is where they continue to flatten out this ground. They have many of the center dump trucks and dump trucks filling up and taking this to the main construction site near Cortex 2. A lot of this dirt was piled up here over the last year and a half, and then it's been used for the construction site. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see another large pile of the dirt, and that's similar to what they had done where they are clearing on the right. But here's a really good close-in view of this activity and how they continue to use dirt from all over the area to build up the main complex that we can see coming into view. Now I'm going to continue to proceed towards the cathode plant and over some of the materials that are being stored here, some of which is concrete that needs to be recycled, and other is building materials for the underground water management system around this site. I'm also going to kind of come in at a different angle, show you where the cell test lab is right over in that trailer, and also some of the materials being stored here. Now on the right-hand side of the screen are those new transformers. It looks like a few more have been delivered since my last video, and I believe all of this is going to be used in and around the Cortex facility. As I zoom in, a nice shot of the wade pit, almost completely empty of water now, and also a nice zoomed in view of what's going on with the crash test facility. Vehicles all around. Inside there's a Cybertruck, a white Model Y, and I think another silver Model Y, all of which is being either prepared or inspected for crash testing. And we can also see that the covered vehicles just to the right of the opening and by that fence are still there. Those have not changed over the last couple of weeks. As I maneuver around, I'll show you the south end looking into this part of the factory, the crash testing facility. We can see the crash test wall is in place, and it looks like they're doing some work around that. So I'm going to maneuver the drone back away, kind of turn towards the main factory, across where we see Tesla Road's extension that will happen next to the trees, and a look across this east side. Some of the workshops and equipment on the bottom of the screen all of the East Warehouse on Wheels trailers, some of the yard trucks, and I also noticed that there were several large deliveries today. At least 4 of these large semi-trucks lined up to go through this gate and inspection point. There's also the blue truck with many more of the large wooden crates, and we've seen much of this around the site. All of this seems to be coming from Tesla Automation in Germany. That's where they make equipment and production machinery, and then that is being brought here. Now, we've seen a lot of that on the west side. We've seen it going into the 4680s section, and we've also seen it going into the east side where they've been building out the production lines for the Cybercabs. As we continue to fly back to the north, here's the concrete vault items and covers. Much of this is being used in and around the construction in the upper left where the switchyard is being expanded, and I bet some of it will also be used in this main construction site. Speaking of which, a nice view with great lighting of all of the earthwork off to the left. That's where the dirt that we saw being picked up and put into trucks at the far northeast is coming as they continue to raise this grade to match it up with the perimeter grade beam that you see here on this side of the building, and also that retaining wall. And it looks to me like this is all going to be built up and will be at a higher grade than the east side. Perhaps this is part of the drainage system, and perhaps there's another reason. On the roof, more work continues to apply the insulation and also the weatherproof membrane. You can see along the parapet wall kind of the wood or that wood-like appearance. This is where they're doing the interface with the weatherproof membrane to ensure that it remains leak-free. And here's another large section the workers are preparing for the glue to put down the 2 layers of the insulation and then the weatherproof membrane. Looking back to the main factory, this gives you a really good idea of where we are on this site and the building. And they're about almost halfway done with installing the weatherproof membrane. And this gives you a great idea of what it will look like when it is completed. I'll bring the drone down to a lower altitude. We see some trench work and some concrete bolts being applied here on the south end, kind of between the die shop on the right and the Cortex 2 on the left. As I bring the drone down even lower, we can tell that they are continuing to work on this perimeter grade beam with that excavation, and it looks like the rebar being placed in. It's slightly offset from the building's perimeter grade beam, so we'll see what that looks like when it is completed. More trenching and pipe installation along this side of the building. Much of that's near where we have the receiving doors that are taking shape, and it also looks like conduit for electrical is being placed in here on the left-hand side of the screen. Next to this section, it looks like there is some excavation right next to this the silt fence. That's kind of that fencing material that the worker is picking up. It looks like they're preparing to put some more concrete vaults and probably some of the water management system pipes through this area. The dirt on the right is being stockpiled for more use around the construction site. And on the north end, we can get a sense of that drainage channel that they put on the right. The fenced off section for some of the piping, and then here on the ground more of the excavation work for utilities. You can see just inside the open door, and I suspect that's going in throughout the rest of the facility. More work on the north face of the wall with that texturized coating, and then we'll see the white stain being applied. So I'm going to relocate now over to the west. Let's take a look at some of the changes at the electrical switchyard expansion area. Here we see rebar that is being fashioned into rebar cages. That's what the workers are doing right now. This will be part of some auger drilling, and it'll be kind of the piles that'll be deep into the ground that will support the footings that will then support the steel assembly and superstructure of the switchyard expansion. And again, it will look very similar to what we can see on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, in my previous video, we did see some of the concrete pours on the upper the base for the transformer and the catch basin. It looks like they are preparing the second one right now. And if you compare the 2 bases on the right and the 2 control trailers on top of the vault, we can see that there will be future expansion eventually. They're also putting in conduit on the north side of that vault. The trenching that was on the south side here looks like mostly filled back in. There are some flags in the excavation point, so we'll see how that goes. But they're slowly filling this area up, backfilling it in, and once it is completed, it'll be level with the rest of the ground. The Megapack site looks like most of the cables have been completed and installed to that control trailer. So as they get to their whatever their milestones are and they're ready to get it close to commissioning, we'll see some gravel and some final work done there. As I pull away towards the east, we can see the old trailers that are getting close to having their operations moved to the new trailers at the top of the screen. Some of the utility work is continuing. You can see this large trench box here and the workers, and the ladder gives you a great idea of scale. Now that goes underneath Tesla Road, and you can see where that trenching enters into that large trailer. They're also putting some seed grass matting down for erosion control. So while we're here, I'm going to fly back towards the northeast corner of the factory. And we'll see what is going on here. As I zoom in, we'll get a great view of the melt center, that furnace loading device on the right with all the equipment waiting for installations, the scrap aluminum that they use to melt down, and that active furnace loading system. A lot of castings on the ground. Most of these are Model Ys, and they are using many of them as fast as they are making them in production. This is a great view of the temporary loading platform and all of these receiving doors along this side of the building. As we get to the secondary main entrance and that construction entrance, we can tell that more equipment has been delivered and is being delivered to be moved up into this temporary platform. And up on that platform, we see workers ready for the crane to get into action and bring these items up for movement inside. Now, one of the best things that I can tell you about what we've been seeing with all of the equipment being moved into this part of the factory on the second and third floors and mezzanines that they've added is that on the far southwest staging yard, where much of the materials were staged, we're going to see that almost all of it is now gone, which is a great sign. Some of which we can tell is on the ground here on those wooden crates. And a lot of other crate material that has been broken down indicates that they have moved all those items inside for that installation. Of course, that is critical for Cybercab production. And as I've mentioned before, they are very excited about their progress. And just seeing all of the equipment has apparently been delivered inside is a really great sign. Next to this pond, we can see the trench work has been filled in just south of the River Road, and along the River Road extension on the left, almost every piece of equipment and crates for the glass company has been moved away. So we may see some work on River Road there pretty soon. Of course, the parking garage, it doesn't seem like much has changed. We do have a great view here of this material staging yard where we've seen some of those crates with the blue tops continuing to be unpacked and moved inside, the steel corrugated pipe for the underground water management system, other piping segments that have been manufactured on the east side in the workshops, and then here these crates are the last remaining materials from W&W Glass Company, which is responsible for installing the glass at Giga-Texas. The fact that it's moved here also gives me some indication that we're going to see some work on River Road soon enough. The wind tunnel is not operational today, but we have seen Cybercab testing there very recently. Not much going on the left-hand side here of the old testing calibration lot, and the vehicles that you did see are employees that are taking advantage of the free charging on site. The enclosures on the roof here, all 10 of them, look like they're virtually completed. There's just one with some workers right now. And again, this is part of the HVAC expansion of the body in white, and some of the permits that we have seen in the past indicates that that work is very close to being completed. While we are on the roof, I'm going to come back to this cleaned off section where they have been doing some work and also some material removal and replacement. You can tell with this brighter white segment. Along the left side of that segment, we can see what looks to be mounts, possibly for more duct work. And we'll continue to watch this to see what they are installing. But as I move the drone around, you can tell on the bottom where some of that material still needs to be cleaned up. Now, as I fly around the north side, I'll give you a great bird's eye view of what's going on here, and then we'll bring the drone down a little bit lower and look in detail of some of the equipment. Now we see castings on the left. Those appear to be all Cybertrucks and those rack mounts. Everything we see in the middle here are paint stands for bumpers. Also body dollies here to move the bodies through parts of the factory. And some equipment has been put up onto that middle platform. We do see more crates have been unpacked on the left, and some other ones have been delivered here. Again, much of that equipment is coming from that Southwest material staging yard, and that is also where we've seen that equipment coming in to this part of the factory and on where the crane is right now, which is part of the battery cell production and also structural packs. This is where the cans for the 4680s would be recycled in those blue bins. The loading system is in that open receiving door on the left of the screen. The employee entrance looks like most of the employees have already showed up for work today because we are flying a little bit later. The shift starts at 6 in the morning. I'll zoom in here. What was on the truck has been loaded up onto the platform and moved inside. Again, this is where we've been seeing very large wooden crates being delivered and moved inside. Again, it's part of the battery cell and structural pack manufacturing of the plant. And it's also to support the Cybercab. Now, this is another delivery. I'll kind of give you a closer view and zoom in. This is also marked as Tesla Automation. As I mentioned before, this is equipment and production machinery that is built in Germany by Tesla's automation shop that they purchased a few years ago. And they have been using it for a lot of equipment and machinery used in all of their factories, specifically here at Giga-Texas, as there's a lot that has been delivered here to support the new production lines. Although production is going on at the moment I was here, I did not see a Model Y exiting, but we are seeing them driving along this road autonomously to the south and then over to the end-of-line facility. So production is underway. I just missed the timing just a little bit. Now I'm going to fly along here and show you the berm work, the grass seed matting. Most of the trenches through here have been filled in. There is a trench box just going underneath the drone. Another few and items here waiting to be installed as they work their way to the south towards the caisson. But really it looks like the progress here is coming along quite nicely. Now I'm going to turn back towards the factory. We'll bring the drone over the power lines and then down over the road. And just to show you what's going on with this entranceway, they have that black fence used for segregating some of the equipment out, but that drive path is used quite frequently, and it connects to the east side all the way through this extension and right next to the boring tunnel. Here is a closer look at this southwest side opening. Still no doors that have been installed, either the personnel doors or the large receiving doors, so it just remains open. And with the bins here, we can see that they are unpacking quite a bit of materials inside. The south end looks like they're continuing to work next to the glass on that gray gravel mix. And across the river road, more of the trench work and trench boxes and some pipe work being installed along this side of the roadway. And as I keep the zoom in and just sort of pan along the road, this is a nice overview of all of the work that is underway, plus a trench box being maneuvered right now at the time that I was flying the drone. The fork statue has had all of the trench work filled back in. They have the 4 new lights that they have placed, and now we'll see what they're going to do for the final treatment here in this corner. And while we are kind of maneuvering here, a nice look at the yellow crane where it is over the smaller caisson. They are doing tunneling towards this caisson from the one across the highway. But what is interesting here, and it may be because we had some pretty heavy rains last night, is as I maneuver and show you down inside, it is filled with water. So it's doing its job as far as gathering water, but they're going to have to drain this out if they're going to be doing the tunneling into this section. But this is what it currently looks like right now. And I'll kind of take the zoom back out. We'll look across the highway. You can see the other caisson where the tunnel boring machine and the tunneling is underway, and I'll give you closer views of that here momentarily. So let's take a look at what's going on with this larger caisson. Looks like there's a pipe segment getting ready to be lifted and moved down inside. When we look inside, there are two segments being pushed in by the hydraulic rams into the bore that the tunnel boring machine has made. Of course, this is going underneath the highway over to that smaller caisson that was filled with water. But right now, that doesn't seem to be affecting their operations much. They are preparing to push more of these segments in, and the workers give you a great sense of the scale here, plus the hydraulic ram device that is used to press those segments into the bore. And I'll just zoom back out. A nice bird's eye view of the operation here. And I hope that you found that useful and informative. So while we're on the southwest side, I wanted to look at what was going on with this material staging yard. The thing that stands out most to me is just how much of the production equipment no longer is here. And as we fly around, although there are a few deliveries, most of that that used to fill all the way around this area, and that white tent has been moved inside for installation for that production lines. Now, there are some more items at the top of the screen wrapped in the kind of greenish packaging, and some others with the silver. These are worth watching to see where they're going to be ending up into the factory. But all in all, it looks like they are making a really quick work of installing all of this equipment. The transformers here haven't really changed in numbers in a while, but we're going to fly up over this staging yard with all of the steel, look across to this other staging yard, and we'll see that there are some more transformers that have been delivered recently. The bottom of the screen is more of the equipment that has been mostly used and moved into the 4680 cell portion of the factory. In addition to that, here next to the yellow crane is the one remaining brown wrapped item that is part of a stamping press that's headed to Giga, Nevada. So once this is gone, then all of that work will be completed. And as I mentioned, there's another one of these large crates from Tesla Automation that has just been delivered here as well. So I'm going to kind of pull away and just let you see all of the equipment and items that are still waiting for movement into the factory here on the south end. Here's all those transformers that I mentioned, and there's that large grouping right in the center of the screen that has been either added or at least relocated from other parts of the site very recently. And a nice overall view of that staging yard. Now, as I pull away over the outbound lot, this gives you an idea of the number of Model Ys and some Cybertrucks on that west side, and the transport trucks that are busy picking them all up. The new intersection at the bottom of the screen is allowing the public to have access to the direct delivery center that they added on the north part of the end-of-line facility, and we'll get some views of that here momentarily. But all of the Cybertrucks that were here last Friday and Saturday are now all gone. The wash rack has had the pavement put over the trenching, so this work looks like it's almost completed now. And it's a nice different angle of the test track with the figure 8, the track, and a vehicle driving on it right now. It's kind of those rumble strips as well as part of their testing. On the south end here, we see the wash rack on the outside and final preparations for the vehicles to move to the outbound lot for pickup. And then this overflow lot has been emptied out from the weekend with a lot of transport activity. I did notice another Model Y driving autonomously to these sorting lanes, so I thought I would follow it here for you and just kind of give you a little sense of what it would be like if you were tagging along with the car as it drives itself over here for final processing. Of course, once it stops here at lane 2, the Tesla employees will come out and move it into the end of line for final processing. And a nice look here as I bring the drone up at that new direct delivery center. It is already operational. The first deliveries happened on a Friday. And overall, just a nice new addition to Giga-Texas. And I hope we see a lot more of that public spaces added here very soon. As I mentioned, on the field on the right should be a welcome center at some point. And that will be yet another really great addition for the public. So I'm going to pull away to the north, kind of stay on the west side of the highway today, give you a different perspective of the overall site and many of the areas that we did visit today. And just a really nice lighting and view of the main factory. It's just amazing to me how much has been built up over the last 5 years when all of this used to be just an abandoned sand and gravel mine. A lot of trees, a lot of hills, ponds, and really nothing else. So that'll bring us to an end for today. I hope you enjoyed what we were able to see and talk about. And as always, thank you very much for your support. Have a great week. Take care.